Ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about can your dependent kids stay on your FEHB when you move into retirement? And what happens if you jump on Medicare? What happens then? That's the sort of thing we're going to talk about today. If you're new here, it's so good to have you. My name is Dallin Haas. I'm a financial planner who serves federal employees specifically every single day, and I absolutely love it. So today's content is actually based on a question I received from one of you folks that they submitted in the link below. There's a link below to submit questions. So if you have any questions that you want us to consider doing a future video on, then submit it. And I can't guarantee we cover all the questions we get. Some just don't apply to enough people, but we'll do our very, very best. Okay. So this question, they ask, can my kids and spouse stay on my FEHB once I retire? Also, if I turn 65 and get on Medicare, does FEHB stay as my primary insurance because I still have a 23-year-old son on my FEHB? So this is a great question. Let's start with the first part of it. Long story short, when you move into retirement, is your spouse and kid able to stay on your health insurance? The answer is yes, they certainly can. Even in retirement, you have the ability to do a self-only, self+1, or family plan. No problem at all. You still have that ability. You can still have your spouse on there. You can still have your kids on there as long as they are under the age of 26. Once they're 26 and above, they can no longer stay on your FEHB regardless of which plan you have. That's just the law. That's how things are set up, is once they're 26 and above, then they get kicked off. So if they're 25, no problem. Once they're 26, they get the boot and they have to go find a plan for themselves, okay? Now, when it comes to your spouse, again, while you are retired and still alive, they can stay on your health insurance, no problem at all. You have, again, the ability to elect self-only, self+1, or family, no problem at all, and have them on there if that makes sense. However, if you pass away first before your spouse, if you as a federal employee spouse pass away before your non-federal employee spouse, the only way for them to then stay on your health insurance is if you had elected a survivor benefit when you retired. Now, this episode is not going to be on survivor benefits. I got another episode on those. I got a number of episodes on survivor benefits, so go check it out. If you go to haasfederaladvisors.com, you can actually search through all the videos and all the content and articles we've done here. There's a search bar, and there's also a way to categorize things by topic, so definitely go check that out, okay? But long story short, you have to elect some sort of survivor benefit for them, whether it's a full survivor benefit or partial, doesn't matter. They can get your FEHB, they can continue it beyond you as long as they have some sort of survivor benefit on your pension, and then you have to elect that at retirement, okay? That is elected on your retirement application at retirement, okay? Now, let's move on to the second part of this person's question. They say, okay, once I turn 65, I'm gonna get on Medicare. Okay, I've got other videos on what you should do with Medicare. There's Medicare A, B, C, D. It talks through exactly what parts you need and what parts you don't need. But long story short, this person's probably talking about Medicare A and B, okay? They're saying, hey, I'm gonna jump on Medicare at age 65. What's gonna happen to my FEHB? Is it gonna stay primary because I have a 23-year-old son? How does that work? Well, generally speaking, when someone jumps on Medicare A and B, Medicare becomes their primary insurance. Okay, and their FEHB then becomes the secondary, okay? However, if you have, let's say, a spouse who is younger than you, or you have a kid who's 23 years old, they aren't on Medicare anymore, or they aren't on Medicare yet, right? They have, generally speaking, people have to be 65 plus to be on Medicare. So what if they're on your FEHB plan, but they're not on Medicare yet? How does that work? Well, basically, for you, as the person 65 plus, your primary insurance is Medicare and your secondary is FEHB. However, for them, if the only insurance they have is your FEHB, that's going to be their primary. It's going to stay primary for them, but it's going to be secondary for you, assuming you're retired and you're on Medicare A and B. Okay, so that is how it works. Now, as you might expect, you want to pick an FEHB plan that works well for you, who's also on Medicare, but also works for those that don't have Medicare on top of that. You want to find a nice middle ground plan that works with Medicare, but also works without it, okay? So I hope that's helpful. Again, if you have questions yourself, there's a link below to submit that. And in the description, there's tons of helpful things. I've got a free book about maximizing your TSP. You can make appointments with our firm in the description below. There's tons of helpful things that you can go check out below. So I hope that's helpful. Have an incredible rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time.